Hi everyone, today is Sunday, May 29th, 2022. It's about 74 degrees outside. It's the weekend of Memorial Day, and we take a moment to think about those who have sacrificed their lives for our country as we celebrate Memorial Day tomorrow. Hopefully you'll get the chance to get together with your families and spend some precious time with them as well. And again, think about those who made the ultimate sacrifice. So we're over here at the hives once again. And we've got hive number 1, hive number 2, and nuke number 1. So what we're going to do today is we are going to check to see if our bees are drawing any comb in our honey supers right on top, which we added a couple of weeks ago. And so we like to keep 2 brood boxes. We requeened this a few weeks ago, and we requeened this one as well. Moved that queen from that box to this box, and we saw some brood and some other signs of some good signs of queen activity. So we're going to go ahead and take a look inside. In this box, we're going to see how the brood is doing, and we're probably going to add a second brood box. We're going to do some checkerboarding, move some brood up and down, and so we like to work with 2 brood boxes here. And this one right here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to check it obviously to see how it's doing as far as population is concerned. And on the second half of it, I'm going to put some empty frames, and in the empty frames, I'm also going to bait them with some a little cotton ball with some what is it, lemon something or other, right? So we're going to bait them, and you'll see right here in the graphic. I can't think of it off the top of my head. Lemongrass, that's what it is, lemongrass. So we're going to bait them to see if we catch a swarm. That'll be exciting. Now, in preparation for today, what I did was I had some beeswax, and I melted down this beeswax, and I brushed it on the foundation, because that's a new foundation going in today, and the bees need a little bit of help, it seems, sometimes. So we're going to go ahead and give them a little help and see how they do. So yeah, we got a good smoker going. There we go. And let's go ahead and get to work. We're going to start with hive number 1. Before we go any further, I want to remind you, of course, that Sir Winston Honeybees is brought to you in collaboration with Blue Sky Bee Supply in Ravenna, Ohio. And the website is www.blueskysupply.com. Right below me here. Also, I want to remind you, as always, make sure you subscribe and click on the notifications so I keep this this YouTube page going. And I'm having a lot of fun with it. And with beekeeping season here, we're going to do a lot of stuff this summer. Let's get in the hives and see what's going on. All right, here we go. Let's see what's happening in with our honey super first. All right, so we have a few bees to start. Not a lot, but we're always hoping with the honey super, right? See if they're drawing this comb. All right, so nothing yet on these honey supers. No comb being drawn yet, but I have a feeling this is coming soon. I will tell you, as far as flowers are concerned right now, clover is starting to bloom. And so that's you know, that's another nectar flow. So as the nectar flows continue, these bees will get up here and they'll start working on this. I'm fully confident that they will. Let's take a look and see how we're doing below. So we see right here, I mean, there is new comb, and there is, you know, burr comb and honey being deposited. So we know they're on their way upward. They'll be up there. There's smoke. Let's go ahead and find the queen. And we're going to do a quick inspection of both brood boxes, just to see, you know, what the laying pattern is of this queen. And of course, we're looking for swarm cells. We don't want any swarm cells. We don't, you know, swarm cups are okay, or queen cups are okay, but we don't want to see any signs of this hive wanting to swarm. They have room on the top, but with no comb. Now they're propolising for sure. This queen excluder is stuck down pretty good. I don't want to bend it, so I'm being very careful as I work my way around the queen excluder. See, there's a lot of burr comb here, and there are a lot of bees in this hive. Here's a couple of hive tools I like to use. I'm not gonna lie, I do like the traditional hive tool the best, but for lifting these frames, especially the first frame, I do like this lifter on this hive tool. And be careful, of course, because we never know where there's going to be a queen and she's going to be on the outer frames. So let's see how she's doing on here. That hive tool makes the work a lot easier. Okay, here we go. Let's take a look. And we have a lot of bees. Look at that pattern, laying pattern, beautiful laying pattern for this queen. She's a newer queen that I got from California about a month ago. She was introduced together with another sister, let's call her, in hive number 2. But we're seeing a lot of good brood here in the center. See some larvae in the middle, honey up here, nectar, pollen. This is what a frame should look like. This is what you're looking for. All right, take a quick look, make sure the queen's not on here, and then we're going to go ahead and hang this frame on my frame hanger. We do have a few drones now. It is mating season for queens. Queens are emerging from hives, and we do need drones. So there are a lot of drones all around here. So this is a healthy frame. And I see a lot of new eggs on this frame right here. Let me show you this. This is a supersedure cell. If something were to happen to our queen, they would cap that and an egg would be in there. But we're going to leave that there. Just brushing these bees off just to make sure they're not on top of the queen. And I don't see her on here. But lots of new eggs. See the same thing here. This brood pattern. We've got some larvae which look like they're about to be capped. It all looks very healthy. You see larvae at different stages. There's only one drone comb here, so that's nice. And a quick look on the other side. Lots of brood again, honey on the edges, nectar, pollen, and no queen on this frame, at least not immediately visible. Last time we saw her, she was actually in the bottom box, but she moved up because there are eggs on here that are just a couple of days old. This frame weighs a ton. Got some honey on here, lots of brood again. See some drone comb on the bottom, but I don't see any queen cells, so that's good. See, at least here, but you don't see any signs of this hive potentially swarming. There's one queen cup on the bottom. Go ahead and just smash that a little bit. It's empty. It could be drone comb. Sometimes the drone comb kind of points downward and confuse things a little bit. We'll take a quick look for the queen on this frame. I don't see her. I do see nice brood, really nice. This queen is really good. It's very, very nice. Have a quick look on this side, just in case. I always like to double look on the back side. The queens don't like the light, so they tend to move towards the shade. I do want to remind you, of course, make sure you're subscribing to this YouTube channel, and make sure that you're requesting notifications by clicking on the bell just down below. Give me some likes as well, so that tells YouTube that you like my videos, and we'll keep them going. This is all new comb here, brand new. You can see how white it is, and I see eggs, I see larvae a couple days old, and so this queen over here has been all over this hive, all over these frames in the past few days. All right. Same here, we got new comb, nectar being deposited. There are no, yet there's eggs right there, and they're laying on their side. So that means they're 1 or 2 days old again. When the queen lays an egg, it usually stands straight up, and then it plops over like a little tiny grain of rice. Soon enough, in a day or two, it converts into a larvae, like a little wormy, and then it gets larger as the bees feed it. And then of course it goes into pupal stage, at which point it gets capped, and then in a few days that bee will emerge and basically start working for about 42 days, and then it'll die. That is the life of the bee. Unless you're a queen. If you're a queen, they live a few years, but all they do is lay eggs. Sometimes they want to swarm, and drones, they don't do anything. Their only purpose is to mate with virgin queens, and basically just help propagate the hive. But you didn't think you were going to get a whole lesson about bees today. Or maybe you did. Maybe that's why you tuned in, right? All right, so what you see in the center there is the Govee. That's the temperature sensor that I put in this hive. And I like to monitor the temperatures. Boy, this one's heavy with honey. So these bees are certainly capping honey and certainly collecting nectar. The nectar flow is strong, but this is all for them. They're not giving me any, because you're not going up into those honey supers. On this side, they're depositing pollen. And the pollen, they convert into what's called bee bread. They don't eat pollen. So they bring in pollen, and then they mix it with some saliva, let's say, and break it down into bee bread, and that they do consume. And so the pollen is their protein, and honey on the outside, as you can see. This white stuff is capped honey, and honey will be their carbohydrates, sugar. Again, this frame is also honey bound. And so no swarm cells, nothing to be concerned about. So these are all finely drawn comb on all these frames. Go ahead and move down to the lower box. All right. Smoke these guys down. We got a lot of bees in this hive. It's a good hive. And we don't want to see any signs of this hive potentially wanting to swarm. That's really what we need to be on the lookout for this time of year. More drone comb in the middle, and lots of brood. Drone brood in the middle. There's our queen. See her right there, right in the middle of the frame. Still got that spot on her. Looking good, right? We'll be careful to slip that in there. All right, here we go, hive number 2. Let's see what it shows us. We just smoked it. And this one, for some reason, the inner cover always comes off with the outer cover. Not a problem, but... So, okay, so we're in hive number 2. Obviously, we're going to check for brood and everything else. What I'd like to do with this hive is I want to add a second brood box. We want to see where we are as far as brood is concerned right now. If this queen's doing as well as the queen in hive number 1, should be ready to add another brood box. Now here's the other thing, is that being a new beekeeper, my frames are undrawn, so we'll have to checker box them. You can see right here, bees are not drawing this one, but we've got some honey. This is still honey left over from winter. Now this is the hive that came out of winter. Both these hives came out of winter alive, but soon after winter, the queen in this hive died. This was the queen that I originally had last year when I bought these nukes to start beekeeping. And there's our queen. There she is right there. She's moving around, seems healthy. And again, I'm seeing some larvae, some few days old larvae. The sun is kind of shining into the, yeah, we're in good shape here. All right, so it's time to start putting in a second brood box. So what I'm going to do is, as you can see, I brushed some beeswax on here, and hopefully we'll get them to start drawing that. So Go ahead and move this. Put a box, some bees. Push this back. Checkerboard this in. All right, so 1, 2, 3, 4 frames on this one. There'll be 6 frames on the top one. Bees work upward. It's called chimneying. So bees tend to work upward, and so we'll hope that they chimney their way up and fill in this other brood box. All right, so there's our pattern. Old to new, old to new. All right. Next week, see where we are. All right. This is hive number 2. We are queen right, and looking for expansion. Last but not least, let's take a look inside nuke number 1. Now, a nuke is half a beehive, if you will. It's only 5 frames. Basically, it's just used as spare parts in case something would happen to any of your hives, in case you need a queen or some resources or some brood, emergency brood. So basically, it's just kind of a throwaway hive that you put a queen in, and they just do their thing. You don't really collect honey or anything from a nuke. Nuke stands for nucleus, and it's 5 frames. So I'm going to open it up, and you'll take a look at the 5 frames. We'll look for the queen, obviously, see what she's doing, and even if they swarm, or they're looking to swarm, we got another half that we might be able to move them into. Now, this nuke has one entrance that goes in this direction. This half has an entrance that goes in this direction, in the opposite direction. So let's see where we are. All right, as you can see, these frames are empty. They are drawing, and they're drawing a lot. So there's a lot of space in between these frames, which is why they're kind of drawing this thick comb. But these aren't swarm cells or anything like that. So we're going to leave that there, obviously. We want to encourage them to draw. So we'll leave that there. Find our queen and see what's going on. Lots of honey. Very heavy. Look at that brood pattern. Beautiful brood pattern. So we have a healthy queen. We're worried a little bit that we kind of smushed her up when we marked her, but she's all right. And we see a lot of larvae. Nice brood pattern here. So if we needed brood in any of these hives, we would take it from here and put it in our other frames. I don't see any drones, but and more brood, eggs, and there's the queen. You can see her right there, top of the frame. All right, so that's good. All right, so kind of a fun inspection here in our apiary today. We got queens in all 3 hives. They're laying. We've got brood, we've got larvae, we've got eggs. So everything looks good in all 3 hives as far as stages of development for bees. Spotted all 3 queens, so that's good. It's always good to see. A lot of nectar, pollen, also in all 3 hives. Got a nectar flow going right now. Dandelions just ending. I saw clover today and all kinds of spring flowers. This is the time of year, right? So everything's fantastic. So queen excluder in this one, and we've got a honey super. Now those frames completely undrawn, but there's room, right? So I think that these bees will eventually emerge and start moving upward and start drawing frame, or start drawing comb, just because they're going to want some room. So that's what's going to happen. I'm pretty sure that's what's going to happen. And over here, what we did was, we got one nuke in this direction, and everything looks good there with our queen, but just for fun, went ahead and added some empty frames and kind of baited it with some lemongrass. We'll see if a swarm moves in. If it doesn't, there's no loss, but it's for fun, right? It's swarm season. Let's see if I can capture a swarm. If I see a swarm, I'm going to go ahead and take this apart and, shove them in there. So anyway, so I guess that's it for now. Look forward to Memorial Day once again. You know, we are, you know, thinking about those who gave their lives for our country. So have a good Memorial Day. Enjoy your family. Have some nice picnics as you enjoy, you know, all that this great country has. And that's it for me. Do remember, of course, to subscribe and click for notifications on the bottom. Give us a thumbs up, the likes, and remember that Sir Winston Honeybees is brought to you in collaboration with Blue Sky Bee Supply in Ravenna, Ohio. The website's right below, www.blueskybeesupply.com. Until next time, I'm John with Sir Winston Honeybees, and happy bees, everybody.